Well, I thought I'd give an update on this hottest day of the year so far on the restoration of my late mother's garden. So we've done a lot. I keep meaning to do it. It's been ages since I did the last one, but I keep thinking, oh, I'll just do this bit and then I'll film it, and then I'll just do this bit and then I'll film it, and then or shall I do it with myself in front of the camera? Oh, I can't be bothered to put my makeup on. Anyway, here we are. So here is the Belvedere, which I don't know if you remember, but was thin looking gravel, no plants at all. The fence had fallen down. This was absolutely covered in overgrown ivy and a huge laurel. The rose was growing completely over everything as well. That's had a huge hack, so unfortunately we've only had one set of flowers from it this year, but that's fair enough. It was bound to sulk this year, but next year should be good. We need to build a pergola for this rose because it is still becoming a bit of a thug, even despite our massive hacking. There's what I call my vulgar garden. So this is where I put all my bright clashing colours. I love how these osteospermums purples pick up the pink of the bougainvillea and then the purple of the nemeseas. The smell of the nemeseas here is wonderful. So I've got purple and orange nemeseas. That's going to be a red hot poker, but a yellow one. Yes, a little bit of heuchera. Everything's looking a little bit floppy in the heat. Another great shade of me, hoster, and another lovely yarrow. I think that's a terracotta, something or other, Achillea. More orange nemeseas. Over here is what was the black and white garden. Again, that was massively overgrown. Had fencing all around the edge. There's a little bit of a mess at the back because we've got builders doing stuff, and so they've been going in and out and taking bags. But this probably will become a vegetable garden or potager. This has got lilacs all planted now, so hopefully they will eventually get big and cover the unsightly back of the wall. That's the back of my husband's studio. These gothic window arches were somewhere else, but they're awaiting a new home, but I'll discuss with my father what he wants to do. Cherry tree, all 6 of the cherries were eaten by birds. Stella, that one is. It's a good one because it's self-fertilizing. There was an arbour here which rotted away, so it was thrown away. So we bought this for my father and his new fiance. He's due to come today, so he'll be able to see it in person. Got this from Forest. My husband built it. I'm not particularly practical. I can do it, but he's better. The best thing is it's got a box bench. Anyone that has a garden design from me knows that they will always have a box bench in their garden design. The most practical thing you can have. You can keep your cushions in it. These roses were taken from the black and white garden. They've found a space now all the way around the perimeter. I've got a mixture of hydrangea, Petiolaris Winter Surprise, which turns a lovely reddy colour in the winter, and Clematis montana, because I just love the smell of Clematis montana in the spring. Everywhere has been re-gravelled. Used to be 10mm Cerny, it's now all pea gravel. It's now hogging. The pond is just being refilled at the moment. I'm just trying to ascertain where the leak is. It's about 3 or 4 inches down, so I'm going to fill it to the top and then mark where the leak is. Probably not the best idea on the hottest day of the year. That's been cleaned out and re-edged, so it's all looking a bit brand new and tooth-like at the moment. These butler sinks have now been planted, and I can't believe I only planted them a few weeks ago, and they've already been here. Yeah, the vine keeps falling down, but the pergola itself is on its last leg, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time tying it into the pergola if we're going to replace the pergola. But yes, so this is the Roman Triconium. Et in Arcadia ego. I also live in Arcadia, so it is a bit more of an Arcadian feel. We've got an electrician coming, so hopefully we can get all the fountains re-put in, so the electricity, because at the moment the garden feels quite dead and lifeless without the sound of water. There's about 7 fountains in this garden and 10 ponds as far as I remember. I cleaned them all out with Murray and Chris. More butler sinks filled with them. The light's not very good, is it? There we go. I love it. They look like tapestries. Beautiful. This is a nice spot. Like the arbour, it's one of the few places you can get the last rays of sun, because the sun basically sets over there at the moment. It sort of moves around depending on the time of year, either there or there. So yesterday it was there. So this is quite a nice space to get the evening sun. It's nice and cool. My mother loved ferns. She used to go, I shouldn't really admit this, because she used to go and nick them from woodlands and things like that. But these are shuttlecock ferns that she spent a long time trying to find stockades of them. Now, of course, you can get them everywhere. So a box that I lifted from somewhere, a buxus. So I'm going to let it grow wild because I'm interested to see what they look like. Sort of growing wild. I went to the Natural History Museum at Tring, and they had boxes just growing as they should, rather than trimmed into tiny tortured balls. So yeah, tortured balls. Maples much happier in the shade than they were in the full sun. The pink tent that my mother used to love sitting under. Unfortunately, as all gardeners say, you should have been here 3 weeks ago, but the roses have just passed their best now, unfortunately. But there's a few little blooms clinging on to life. This one I really love. It's Madam Hardy. It's quite distinctive because she has a little green centre. Can you see her little green centre there? See if I can focus it. I can't see the light so bright. Okay, so we've got William Shakespeare over there, or was it Falstaff? Can't remember. This is newly planted up. They had nothing in here, just weeds. My favourite Nemesias again. Gone for a purple colour scheme here with Ericiums. All of the umming. This is all planted up. Look how much the roots are pushing up the tiles. This used to be flat. So this is quite a nice little cool shady spot. This garden is north facing, so it is quite cool, thankfully. Yeah, so the tree house is in a terrible, terrible state. Look at this. I've managed to do everything I can horticulturally, but the next big task is repairing all these beautiful buildings. So that was the tree house, and we've had quite a lot of nasty wind recently, so there's some bits of it that are coming out, but I'm hoping the core of it is okay. But it's heartbreaking because it's a lovely place to sit. Okay. This was still not really much done here, just to bar a bit of sweeping out, although the leaves have fallen back down again, and clearing out the pond. Unfortunately, again, this arch is collapsing, so that will need replacing or fixing or bodging. This was something I dug out. It was one of the first sort of hard landscaping projects I ever did when I was about 15. This, it's full of mozzies too. This was supposed to be my tribute to the Alhambra. It has a water fountain at the end and one in the centre. But unfortunately, we've got this huge tree now right above it. So probably not the best place to have a pond. So when my father comes back, we may discuss it and whether we keep it or work with the shade, or maybe get rid of it entirely and replace it with a border. A nice white border would be good to lift the darkness of this end of the garden. So there's the new fence that was put in by Gary. Another view along at the rose garden. Blimey, it's hot. And up at the tree house again, another place where you can get the evening sun. And then this goes through to the swing seat. Lovely cool corner. So those two Gothic windows I told you about, they used to be behind there. So they may go back there, but I think they need to go somewhere a bit more like they've got a point. This is a really good spot here. You can see why my mother chose this spot. So you can basically pretty much see all of the garden from the shade. And look, she had a telly in the garden, so she didn't have to come in to watch the telly. She could stay out, which I think is a really good idea. Massively hedonistic, but I'm all for that. Oh, this fig, it's the best it's ever been. Look at those big pendulous figs. So yeah, happy about that. I love this little spot. There was a willow tree here once, which died back. It dominated the whole garden, but actually it opened up this area, so this could become a sort of gravel garden. The trunk was left for a long time until I noticed this pot on top of the trunk was like that. So we needed to get rid of the top. It was all rotten, so I just picked it all away and put the pot on some bricks and surrounded by these mad concrete balls my mother discovered on a building site. The rookery that I restored, filling out nicely. Unfortunately, some things are taking over that I didn't want to, but there we are. This is me not spending a lot of time preparing. I never do what I do in other clients' gardens for myself. There's a couple of things that I didn't think that we thought we'd lost, like these two oxalis and the iron cross one. I thought they'd gone, but there they are. It's unfortunate, of course, I planted other things right close up because I didn't think they'd come back. So yes, some of the stuff is really nestling in nicely. I'm quite pleased with this rockery, considering it's right in the blazing sun most of the day. This maple isn't too bad considering it's in full sun. It's really not the best place to put an acer. But this one really is suffering. I do need to move it and rethink this area. So this area is a bit of a mess. I've just plonked these pots here for now. The disc area needs fixing. It's all falling apart. And the back area of that, I've planted a vinca, so there will be some ground cover, but maybe once the hydrangea petiolaris and the clematis have sort of grown up, it won't look quite so messy. The bridge, unfortunately, also needs fixing. Bloody duckweed. So, looking all right. I'll just give you a little pan across the garden so you can see how it looks in June 2020. Oh, must trim that bamboo. Well, you like me, whenever you're in a garden you can never sit because you think of all the things that need doing. Here we are, the arbour, the Roman triconium, the fern garden, the love shack, the pink tent, through to the rose garden, the rockery, and the Chinese pavilion, and the meh zone. And we have the deep pond, the bog garden, and the bridge pond. The bridge pond that usually has fish, the deep pond doesn't, so that we can encourage wildlife in this one. And then, excuse the hose pipe. Oh, and then there's the view through. Another little pan. Yeah. So, I think my father will be quite pleased. Well, I've rambled on for 12 minutes, so I better stop. Thank you for coming.